All right, I wasn't even aware they had started the NFL Top 100 playlist. I try to pay attention to it. The last couple of years, I just stopped watching the NFL Network. It just ain't been good TV, And I love Nate Burleson, but that Good Morning Show is no masculinity, no manhood. It just seemed fruity, bro. I'm just sorry about that. So I've been kind of not watching NFL Network as much as I used to, especially when I was younger. But they started it, and Keenan Allen debuted at 77, and he got mad, basically saying that, Mike Evans wasn't better than him. So let's talk about it. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon button, share the video. I'll put the screenshots on the screen. And I agree with him. And it's an acquired taste. I mean, it's like the Randy Moss, Jerry Rice debate. You got a whole generation of kids that just watch the Randy Moss highlights and say, oh, he was a beast, but they didn't watch the games where, he would quit. They don't understand football, running the full route tree. And Randy was a gifted receiver. He didn't have to run the full route tree to be one of the more effective receivers in the league. But when you talk about complete receivers, Jerry, Larry Fitzgerald, and Terrell Owens were more complete. Where on the street was Randy wouldn't go over the middle. Randy wouldn't run the slants. He didn't want to run the drags. He just wanted to run the screens and the sevens, the deep posts, those type of routes. And you can't explain that to somebody who don't understand football, who don't know football. You can't explain it. And that's why the Giants was able to take him away, because they covered him over the top for the most part. You're not worried about Randy going over the deep in the dig routes. You ain't worried about him running the ends and the crosses and stuff of that nature. Out of Randy, you might get the skinny post, the 9, the comeback, maybe a curl, some screen routes, and that's pretty much about it. It's reverses. But when you talk about a complete receiver, somebody who can catch it, go over the middle, he can just do everything. They're not scared to go over the middle. They run a complete route tree. Jerry Rice is the greatest to do it. Just look at his accolades. He won the MVP, I believe. You know what I'm saying? I know he won the Super Bowl MVP. He's one of the greatest football players right there with Barry Sanders, to play the game, and Lawrence Taylor. I got them tied as the greatest football players of all time. And it's hard to kind of decipher them, but they are the greatest football players that I've witnessed. And the reason I started off with the Randy situation is because you got to understand, there's more to football than running deep routes as a receiver. You know what I'm saying? You got the blocking, you got, the intermediate, the short routes, and it's a lot of receivers that did a lot more than Randy Moss did in his career from the receiver standpoint. But then again, when you talking real football, most casual fans, they don't understand what I'm saying. And that's why I was more of a Terrell Owens guy, because Terrell Owens was a tough dude and he'd go across the middle. He'd do everything, you know what I'm saying? But with Keenan Allen and Mike Evans is getting the flashier passes and catches and the deep balls. And, that's what people like. Chicks dig the long ball. That's what they say in baseball. And a lot of fans dig the deep ball in football. You know what I'm saying? But if you talking about from a technique standpoint, creating separation, coming in and out of breaks, you know what I'm saying? His hands have been better over the last 3 seasons. You're talking about Keenan Allen. You know what I'm saying? Keenan Allen is the better receiver when you're breaking it down the aspect. Now, if you got an acquired taste and you an offensive coordinator or you a fan and you just like that Mike Evans catch all those deep balls and that's what you like Randy Moss, I'm not mad at you. That's just your preference. But to go out there and when you talk about better, Keenan Allen is the better receiver. You know what I'm saying? His route running, the way he come in and out of breaks, just catching. And he may not be the fastest. He may not be the most athletic. But the way he get off the line and, you know what I'm saying? And like I said before, last 3 years, even though last year he had a little drop in drop rate, he had better hands than Mike Evans. Mike Evans routinely dropped balls, but then again, neither one of them been playing with the better quarterback. I think Phillip Rivers kind of been declining, and Winston never lived up to his prophecy, or he never lived up to the hype. So you might see a situation where you might see Evans do more things, in a Tampa Bay offense. He may do more of those intermediate routes, Tom Brady, like those middle routes, them ends. And if he can, prove to go over the middle and catch the ball and be successful from that aspect and really show off his route running ability and being punctual with Tom Brady, then it may not be no debate by the season's end. Keenan Allen's going to continue to drop off because guess what? Plays with the Chargers. The Chargers have no fan base. And that's one of the things you look at in sports. It's all about popularity. You know what I'm saying? And, he in a situation where they might be one of the least most popular franchises next to the Jaguars, and he don't get no play. He don't get no accolades. And that's kind of my whole thing with the Detroit Lions receiver, Kenny Galladay. I'm a Lions fan. Check my other channel out, Murder City Sports Talk. I appreciate the love support. If you could do that for your boy. Is that, he led the league in receptions last year, but they glossed over it because he played in a market that doesn't win. When you're not on Monday and Sunday Night Football doing great things, then you tend to get left off. It's a lot of great ball players that, they get forgotten because they play for bad teams. I mean, Corey Dillon was one of my favorite running backs outside of Barry Sanders when he was coming up. He was dominant. He fumbled the ball a little bit, but he was dominant. He carried the Bengals franchise, and, he wound up winning a Super Bowl later in his career carrying the Patriots or helping carrying the Patriots. But he basically, his career is in obscurity, or in this abyss because, he played for the Cincinnati Bengals. Had he did that shit with the Cowboys or he done it, with the Green Bay Packers or the Steelers, Corey Dillon will be in the Hall of Fame. And I think he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. And that's how good he was. But how many of you young guys out there remember who Corey Dillon was? Not too many. But the guys like me will remember Corey Dillon was tearing shit up in the league, man. And it's a popularity contest, you know what I'm saying? And this is why it's very important where you fall at in the National Football League. Because if you go to the Jaguars, you go to the Lions, you go to the Chargers, I mean, unless you're going to be phenomenal like Michael Vick, it's going to be hard for you to get your flowers while you're doing it. With some years down the line, they're going to look at your tape like, damn, I didn't know Keenan Allen was that good. And that's the issue, with playing on a bad team. And if Keenan Allen played with Tom Brady, that'd be he would be the perfect fit for that New England system with Tom Brady and Josh McDaniels. And not to say it, he could run out, he can do it out the slot, he could do it from out wide. He's on time with his route running, and true football savants can really appreciate what he can do on the field. But once again, it's an acquired taste. And somebody put a stat where in the first 6 seasons, Keenan Allen had less receptions, touchdowns, and yardage, and Mike Evans had more in his 6 seasons than Keenan in 7. But also, once again, when you give some stats and you leave some stats out, it'll make you believe that Keenan Allen played 16 more games than Mike Evans, but Keenan Allen actually played 4 less games than Mike Evans in that time span. So like I said before, man, it's an acquired taste. Me personally, I think Keenan Allen is the better receiver. He give you more versatility. Mike Evans is the loud car, with the Hemi in it. Vroom, vroom, vroom. He the loud Challenger and Charger. It looked good, but it's built like a shitty ass car. The suspension is bad. You know what I'm saying? The longevity of the car is a piece of plastic. And I ain't miss no words about the Challengers and the Chevys. They bullshit cars. You know what I'm saying? You never buy those second hand. And Keenan Allen is that Lexus that don't get no love. You know what I'm saying? But it's built better. It ain't a popular car. It run faster. It don't go woo woo woo. It just take off and do its thing. And he do got a gripe, but ain't no point in griping, bro. He's just gonna make you look like sour grapes. It's gonna make you look like Mike Thomas. They get mad at Mike Thomas for fighting for what's his. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he's not a 99 receiver, but name me somebody that caught 145 balls. And if it's so easy to run 5-yard routes and catch it, well, show me somebody else that's doing. Why hadn't Edelman done it? Why hadn't Wes Welker done it? Nobody talk about the little tit for tat bullshit that they do. Mike Evans don't go down. I mean, Michael Thomas don't go down the field because Drew Brees can't throw it down the field. It ain't his fucking fault. I do think he the best receiver. He proved it last year. And who else he got helping him? Okay, Jared Cook, Traquan Smith. Come on, man. And Alvin Kamara, he missed a few games last year. But, everybody going to have their opinion on it, man. But you just got to learn to stop arguing with dudes who don't know the football game. For all my football heads who know the game, the X's and O's, need to argue. But Mike Evans is a dope receiver, though. Don't get it wrong. He's just more of a dude that's a deep ball threat. He seemed to be limited in what his game can do. But I think he's just limited because Jameis was the quarterback. I think with time this year, if they do everything I anticipate them to do, I think he'll break out this year and he might be considered the best receiver in football. But we'll see. But they both can say they're limited due to quarterback play. Especially Keenan Allen this year. It's not going to get better for him with Tyrod being the quarterback. But it is what it is. Check out our NFL playlist. Don't forget we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can reach out if you got business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. Just keep sharing the videos. All my social media links in the description. You got a Facebook group. You want to make a donation, share the video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, bell icon button. But if you want to make a donation financially, Cash App, PayPal in the description. One time we gone.